Howard shy wait, come to take the throne. To conquer world powers, bring Jacob home. I'm quarterbacking like Jake DeLone. Like Mount Rushmore, I gotta face a stone.
Deep into Egypt.
Now, what do you know about Moses in Egypt? You know that story? All right, so just a quick crash course. Moses was sent into Egypt to get the Israelites, his people, out. The Most High sent him. You ever hear the story, let my people go? Moses went up to Pharaoh. This is what that's talking about. So at one point in time, he went to Egypt, said, let my people go. And then him and his people walked out of Egypt, a mass multitude. Now, the Israelites, when they were in Egypt, they were in hardcore bondage. They were in slavery at that time. So that's what Egypt represents to them. The word Egypt comes from a Hebrew word matazar, meaning double straits or a tight space. Or other words, bondage, right? Get that.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. I'm the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the land of Egypt, read.
Out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt, again, is synonymous with the house of bondage. Would you say slavery is another term for bondage? All right, now get that.
All right. And then just to expound on the double straits. Yeah, I got this real quick.
Go ahead.
This is Lamentations chapter 1 and verse 3. Judah is going into captivity because of affliction and because of great servitude. She dwelleth among the heathen, she findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits.
Between the straits or a tight space. Wouldn't you say that that happened to the so-called black man? Now give me that.
This is back at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Egypt again, or bondage, right?
With ships.
No, by a car.
With ships.
An airplane.
Ships.
Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
So what that's talking about, they're not going to see that type of bondage in Egypt again. Now, what people went to bondage or captivity or slavery by way of ships? So-called black people. Why is that in the Bible? You don't know. Keep reading.
Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
Now, did the so-called black man get sold when they got off them boats?
No.
You said no?
No.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that when the so-called black man got off slave ships, they didn't get sold?
Yeah, they did.
They did? Okay, so then why are you joking? That's not a good thing to be happy about. Are you happy that your people got sold? Then why are you smiling about it?
I know y'all hard on people. Y'all go hard.
Well, of course, because our people have been afflicted. But again, our people were sold when we got off them boats, right? Read.
You shall be sold unto your enemies.
Were we sold to our friends?
No.
So the people we were sold to are classified as our enemies. Read on.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
Right.
And no man shall buy you.
When you go into that word buy, it's going into redeem. No one's been able to redeem us out of this situation. So this happened to the so-called black, Hispanic, and so-called Native American man. But this was prophesied 1,000 years before what happened. Is it not spiritual? Would you like to know why that happened? Get 15.
It's Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass,
Meaning it's going to happen.
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
If you don't listen to God,
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day,
Right.
that all these
all these good things.
curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So what we read earlier was a curse. And the reason why a curse happened is because if these people did not listen to the word of God, the law, statutes, commandments, these curses will befall upon them. Give me 54.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother.
There was a point in time where we could be very tender and delicate towards one another. Like how I came up to you, I said, how you doing, King? You doing all right? And how many times do you walk up and down the street, or you just see a group of so-called black men, Hispanic men, and they sizing each other up for no reason? All the time, right? His eye shall be evil towards his brother. We have an issue with that. That's why there's black on black crime, black on brown crime. It's an issue with our people. Again, this is in the Bible. Keep reading.
And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Don't we have an issue with single parent households? Why is this in the Bible, Ken? If the Bible's not spiritual, then why is this spiritually happening to our people? It's prophesied. Prophesied means to say before. So if this is coming to pass and this was said before, that means that the people that it's happening to are the people that it was said about. You got 42 and 22? Isaiah 42 and 22, Baba Kashah. So this is happening to particular people. We can see that happening today to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know why? It's because the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native men are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
We're God's chosen people on this earth. Because we didn't want to listen to the Most High God. That's why we put in this predicament. You got what I want? Read.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
These people have had everything taken from us. Would you not say that the black, Hispanic, and Native men had their identity, their heritage, the way of life, and their culture taken away from them? Read on.
They are all of them snared in holes.
You know what a snare is? A snare is an old English term for a trap. So you ever see like on a cartoon, a little bunny running by, and they go over a little pile of leaves, there's a little rope that catches them? That's a snare. Wouldn't you say that a liquor store or a drug store on every corner in the hood, that's a trap, right? They're already impoverished, but you have cheap liquor for them to be intoxicated. You have drugs and guns and gangs easily accessible in the impoverished parts of the country. But who's there? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's easy for them to fall into that. That's a trap. Read.
And they are hid in prison houses.
Who fills up the prison houses? Black. There you go. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read.
They are for a prey, and none delivereth them. For a spoil, and none saith restore.
And we haven't been restored, man. This is describing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? So this book is specific to a peculiar people. This is talking about the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, but we see it happening to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Why? Because we are the people. What you got?
I got a piece of it. Going to the liquor store thing, like he said. Watch this. This is Proverbs 31, verse 6 through 7. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty.
And our people are impoverished. We're ready to perish. We're suffering. We're trying to forget our ways in this life. We don't want to think about us being impoverished. That's why people have an issue with alcoholism and being high all day. Why? Because we want to numb the pain. There's more on that?
Yeah. I'm reading again. Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more.
And we don't want to remember those things. That's why a lot of our people walk up and down the street drunk and high all day. Even the homeless. They scrounge up change for food, maybe a little bit of drink. But at one point in time, they're going to get high so they can forget about what's going on. This is happening to our people. Is this not a spiritual thing that's happening? It's a very spiritual thing. So what's your take on this so far? Because I know you say you believe parts of the Bible, but you're more spiritual, but this is something that spiritually happens.
I'm pretty ignorant to the Bible.
One more time?
I'm pretty ignorant to the Bible, to be honest.
Okay, I mean, that's cool. To be honest with you, a year and a half ago, I was in the same predicament. I wasn't looking for this. I wasn't trying to teach my people the Bible. But the Most High God had mercy on me, opened up my eyes to be in the exact position that you used to be. And now I'm up here teaching my people. I'm feeding the sheep, doing what I'm supposed to do. It's a beautiful thing. Because knowing something is half the battle. Am I right or wrong? Absolutely. Give me Jeremiah 17:4. Now, I asked you what you were earlier. You said black, right? Now, black, you're not the same color as your shirt. You about my color. You know what I'm saying? You're more like a peanut butter. You know what I'm saying? You know, black is just a color. But they've given us this term, nigga, black, Negro, Hispanic, Mexican, Latino, Latina. They even have a Latinx for some madness that's going on right now. But they give us these terms, but these are the same people that took our heritage away. We don't know what to call ourselves. There's a reason for it. You got what I want? Jeremiah 17:4. Go ahead.
It's the book of Jeremiah 17:4.
Read on.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
Now, a heritage, of course, we inherit looks, our mannerisms, the way we talk, the way we walk from our parents, but we also inherit a culture. We also inherit a language, a way of life, a religion, a belief system. These are things that we inherit from our families, including land. We don't have none of that, do we? We've been discontinued from it. Read on.
Thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
Did we not serve our enemies? Go ahead.
In the land which thou knowest not.
Now, the Native American man and Hispanic man, they knew this land. That's why they weren't. The white man said that they were terrible slaves. Why? Because they can dip on out at any time. They knew the land, they knew the landscape, they can dip out. And shout out to Gad for being on the plantation, because they was not trying to work for nothing. They rather die than work for the white man. That's how strong that they were. But when they brought us over here, we didn't know the landscape. We didn't know where to go. So we had to serve our enemies. Read.
For you have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
And that's what's happening right now to this day. That's why we're the last hired and the first fired. You see what I'm saying? That's why we're impoverished all over the world. No matter where you go, you find a black, Hispanic, and Native there, we're suffering. There's even a few of us that's in a high status. You got your Jay-Z's, your Drakes and whatnot, but it's just a ploy to make you think you can get there. But even they themselves, they not the highest of the highest. They still under somebody else. You see what I'm saying? You got any questions?
So far.
Not so far. You want to know how God feels about you being an Israelite? You know you want to know what the Most High thinks about that? Give me Deuteronomy 7:6.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6.
Read on.
For thou art an holy people
The word holy means to be separate. So you are a separate or set apart people. Read.
unto the Lord thy God.
You're separated unto God.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee
He chose you for what?
to be a special people unto himself,
He chose you to be special to Him. Read on.
above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So you're supposed to be above everyone on the face of the earth, and that's how He feels about you. You got something? No? How do you feel about it? Most High said He separated you because He wants you to be special to Him. And because of that, you're above everyone on this world. Isn't that a beautiful thing? It's a beautiful thing, ain't it? Let me ask you, do you know what Christ looks like? Do you believe in Christ? Not everyone does. Do you believe in who the world ignorantly calls Christ? Kind of, sort of? Kind of, sort of? Let me ask you, is this Christ? Definitely not. Without the horns and the tongue. No? Can you do me a small favor? Can you step on this guy real quick, man? You can crip walk on him, you can woo walk on him, you know what I'm saying? There we go. All praises. All praises. This guy is SICARRI Borgia, son of Rodrigo. What is he, the sixth pope? The sixth pope, man. This guy was a homosexual, a pedophile, and he raped his sister, man. That's who this guy is. Would you like to know what Christ looked like? You would? Give me Revelation, start at 1.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John.
So this is the revelation or the revealing of Christ. Now let's see what he looked like. Go ahead.
Revelation 1:13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot.
So he had a long garment down to the foot. Read.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
So he had on a golden. This man got a long garment and a golden girdle. He fly right now. Like, who walking around with a long garment and a gold girdle? Let's be real. I'm walking around with gold on my waist. Come on, read.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So his hair on his head and in his face, his beard, they're woolly in texture. Who has woolly hair on the planet? So-called black man, right? Woolly. Read on.
As white as snow.
So he had white woolly hair, kind of like a Morgan Freeman. Read on.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Because he has a fiery passion and anger for what's happening to his people. Read on.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
What color is brass, King? Brown, like a brown gold, right? Let's see how brown he was.
As if they burned in a furnace.
You burn anything in a furnace, what happens to it? It turns darker, right? So he was like a Wesley Snipes with a white fro. Read on.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
So this man was dark, had a woolly afro, was loud, and on top of that, let's just think of the story, right? He didn't commit any crimes, but he was jailed and killed for crimes he didn't commit. One more time?
Hung on a tree.
Hung on a tree. Who got hung on a tree? And who gets killed for not doing anything wrong? So-called black people, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Yeah, he fits the description. If this was a cop reading it, he'd be like, that's the nigga who did it. That's the robbery on 5th and Broadway. That's the guy. It's the same thing, man. So how's it? Christ look like you, man? He looks like the very brethren that are up here, man. This book is not a. This is not a religious text. This is a book of revolution. This is the book of history. This is a book of heritage, and it belongs to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's what this book is. What you got? Go ahead.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 11. Besides this, he gave them knowledge and a law of life for an heritage.
See, this is a heritage for us. When we keep these laws, statutes, commandments, nothing can stop us.
That's right.
Absolutely nothing can stop us. Matter of fact, what are you holding?
Romans 8:9.
Hold that. Give me Deuteronomy 4 and 5. I'm gonna show you why can't nothing stop us, man. Are people known as a wise people? Are we known as a ruling class or a people of nobility? Are we known as a people who have just straight up common sense and know what to do? We not, right? Let me show you why.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 6. Keep therefore and do them.
Start at 5.
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it.
So no matter where we go, we need to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, and here's why.
Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom.
This is our wisdom. These laws, statutes, commandments are our wisdom. They teach us how to conduct ourselves with other people around the world. They teach us how to conduct ourselves with each other, how to be brotherly, how to do group economics, how to support one another and build each other up and have a strong and lasting nation, which we don't have right now. We don't.
And your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Do other nations say that about us? So that should tell you that we're not doing what? We're not keeping these laws, statutes, commandments, King. Not as a collective. You see brothers up here, we're doing it. But as a collective, we're not doing it. You see what I'm saying? What you got?
I got you. Go ahead. This is the book of Judah, because you said, like, if we keep these laws, can't nobody come against us. Watch this. This is Judah chapter 5, verse 17. And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which we appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by their enemies.
You see? When we keep these laws, statutes, commandments, can't nobody touch us. But when we don't, like I read earlier in Deuteronomy 28:15, curses come upon us. And now our enemies can come and get us. Go ahead.
I got another one. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 5. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction.
Not for our destruction, we don't.
But because ye moved God to wrath.
Amos 3.
Ye were delivered unto your enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to God.
So because we want to go and worship other gods, we want to be harlots and whores unto the Most High, we're being punished, not to kill us, but so that way we can get right. Like, do you have kids? Well, you yourself are your child, right? So when you were a kid, what happened when you didn't listen to mom and dad? Reprimanded, right? More than likely, timeout. More than likely, if you're in a black, Hispanic, native household, especially a so-called Mexican household, you better run from that chancla, man. You run. My house, it was a leather belt and exercise. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. Having abs in the 2nd grade, it wasn't fun, man. It wasn't. Oh, no problem, King. No problem, King. Hey, you got a flyer? I don't got no flyers on me, unfortunately. Matter of fact, you got YouTube?
I got one in the car.
You got one in the car? All right, all praises. He's about to get a flyer. Do you be on YouTube though? Okay, we got several YouTube channels. If anything, link with this brother right here. Oh yeah, go on.
Can we give you our YouTube?
Yeah, I got you. Let me get you this, King. Yeah. We got. Correct. Yeah, we have places. We have other camps all over the place, but this is the main one in Dallas. Now, I hadn't had a chance to go get none. No, you good, King. You good. We trying to expect that. Matter of fact, while I'm getting this, give me a conclusion of the whole matter. So this is us right here. SICARRI Dallas. SICARRI Dallas. SICARRII. You got one? Is that the move? Hey, all praises. Here you go, King. It's also on this flyer right here. It's also on this flyer. You got a couple of YouTube channels on there. We also have contact information. We're here every Friday between the hours of 7 and until whenever, and Saturdays between the hours of 4 and 8. So if you got any questions, you can always hit us up. If you're out in the way, come see us, King. Let me show you this one last scripture before you go. Go ahead.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
So out of everything that's been said, it's the conclusion. Read on.
Fear God and keep his commandments.
Right.
For this is the whole duty of man.
This is the whole duty of man. This is what we're supposed to do. When you go into that word duty, it means debt. And we are in debt to the Most High. He had everything created for us. He made all this for you. He done built you up for you so that way you can reign in this world. We owe him everything. So that's why we got to come back and do our best to keep the law, statutes, commandments, and faith in the Son who the world only calls Christ. His real name is Yahushua. The Most High's name is Yahweh. That's the Father's name, all right? Have a good one, King.
All right, bro.
See, man, that's what it's about, man. Man, give me Deuteronomy 6 and 4. Get the Most High hand, man. Just, how many times do we start off like that? Like, how many times do we start off, man? What's going on, man? All right, he's got a monster. Give me that. 6 and 4.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Shema Yasharala Yahweh Elanai Yahweh Yahweh Echad. Understand that, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And with that, I want to say, call Allah Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Shalom.
SICARRI.
We are the children of the one Yahweh.
The chosen.
Ye are the chosen of the one Yahweh. And he has given his laws to us. Now everything belongs to us.
Shalom, what's going on? It's your brother Chief Priest Alazar Lawyer, aka the Guerrilla Hebrew, and I'm just letting y'all know I just dropped my official clothing line, Urban Guerrilla. Go to urbangorilla.com right now to check us out, man, and pick something up. There's URBNGRLA.com. We got all kind of items for men, women, children, even infants, as well as fragrance oil, smell goods. You can also check out Hebrew Israelite Clothing Co., another SICARRI business, on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, you can hit up deaconsicari.com to get your plug on the scarves, the music, and the children's Bibles. Thanks for your time. All praise to the Most High. Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.